Hi, everyone. On Monday, August 1st, our church hosted a listening session for the North Central District, which we were part of, on the future of the United Methodist Church. It was led by our conference superintendent, Reverend Dr. Sunita Maiko, and I wanted to share with you a recap of some of the information that was shared in that listening session, as well as what this means for us here at Zionsville United Methodist Church. First, a little background. For the last 40 years, the United Methodist Church has been wrestling with the question of human sexuality in Scripture and specifically the question of same-sex marriage. This debate has gone back and forth and has become more and more sharp in recent years. And so in 2019, it reached a head and a decision was reached, a plan, a protocol for separation of the United Methodist Church into two different theological positions. One that is centrist affirming, open to the possibility of same-sex marriage, and one that is traditional, that would define marriage solely between man and woman. Now, COVID happened, and that delayed the voting of the General Conference in which this plan, this protocol would have been approved. It was slated to happen in May 2020, and here we are, 2022, and it was supposed to happen again in August of this current month, but it's been delayed for another 2 years because of the difficulty in obtaining visas for all the international delegates from the International United Methodist Church. We are a global denomination, something we celebrate, but it does create these challenges. And so since General Conference has been delayed, plans have gone forward with the creation of this new denomination known as the Global Methodist Church, which launched at the beginning of May of this year. Now, since this church has gone ahead and launched, Global Methodist Church, there is a process whereby United Methodist churches can disaffiliate from the United Methodist Church and either join the Global Methodist Church or any other denomination, or even operate as independent churches on their own. As I said, this process is known as disaffiliation. It requires a 2/3 vote of all the membership of a church, as well as a payment is necessary, that we honor our commitment to the conference by paying 2 years of apportionments, and a church that disaffiliates would also need to pay its pension liability to retired clergy who have served it before, who are now retired. So there's a financial cost as well to disaffiliating. So this is the process that's taking place, and many Methodist churches within Indiana and around the country are going through a process of voting whether or not they want to disaffiliate. Part of the purpose of our meeting that Monday night was for Conference Superintendent Sunita Maiko to walk us through all the steps that are part of the process of disaffiliating and to answer questions that people have about that process. I want to share with you that at this time, Zionsville United Methodist Church is not moving towards a vote on disaffiliation. Over the last year, I, along with our previous associate pastor, Reverend Seth Neckers, we spent most of the year hosting Bible studies around this topic of same-sex marriage, which allowed people of differing theological views to come together to sit and listen to one another. As we had about 100 people go through these studies over the last year, and as part of that study, we asked everyone to indicate their theological position by an anonymous straw poll. But as a result of those straw polls, we have some indication of where our church sits theologically. And what I can tell you is that no group holds 66% of the vote. Rather, in fact, we have a large number who are still identifying as unsure. They're just not sure where they fall on this issue, so that no group actually holds even a simple majority in our church. Because of this fact, our administrative council has decided not to move towards a disaffiliation vote, but instead we're going to continue to hold fellowship with one another, continue to hold listening sessions and studies for us to go deeper into the issue, to try to understand one another, and in the meantime to wait and see what the denomination moves toward at our next General Conference, which will be in 2024. This doesn't mean that we will never take a vote. In all likelihood, we'll be required to take a vote following that General Conference, probably to take place in late 2024 or early 2025. What it does mean is that for the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to continue to hold the spirit of unity, the bonds of peace among us, recognizing that not all of us see eye to eye on this issue, but also recognizing that we're all Christians, followers of Christ, who are seeking to love our neighbor and to love God with the best that we have. And if we can do that and hold in peace with one another, then I think for this age, for this moment in which we live, we'll be fulfilling the will of God in our midst. So if you have any questions about this meeting or anything I've said in this video, please feel free to contact me, and I wish you all God's peace.